Hi everybody. It is Monday, September 2nd. In the United States, that is a holiday. It's Labor Day, so there's no school today, so I'm home from work today, and I thought that would be a great time to make a video, right? Always. It is a gorgeous, sunny summer day outside. I think it's going to get into the 90s today. I don't think the weather knows it's September yet. I think it's still August, but that's okay. I don't quite want summer to be over yet. I would like it to cool down just a little bit. 80s would be nice, but that's okay. I'll take what we can get. Thank you to everybody who commented, hoping that my work calmed down at work. It did. Things calmed way down this week, so I'm kind of back to my normal schedule at work, which is really nice. So thank you for everyone who had great, who commiserated with me on the beginning of school and all the crazy stuff that went on. A little bit of housekeeping. Last time I showed you this beautiful fob that I got, Stitchy Kindness. And I said that it was Linda. It's not Linda, it's Susan. Susan in Pennsylvania sent me this fob with this beautiful card because of my little wee village fairy garden. See if I can get it to hold still. And that little door opens up. Thank you, Susan. I knew your name. I just get in front of the camera and all rational thought goes out of my head, I'm telling you. And since it is September, I told you last time that I love to change. I have my favorite pair of silver Dovo scissors, and I actually remember to bring them downstairs and show them to you today. These are my very favorite silver Dovo scissors. I love them. And I'm almost always use these scissors, but I love changing the fob out for the season so that I could have a different fob. This was the one I used in May. It's a doll pendant that I bought at Joann's. They have some, I was online because I can't find them in the store anymore because it was clear last May, right? So I was online and they still have lots available online. And there's also lots of other sellers, different brands, different people who make these. If you just do a search on Amazon or something. Lots of them. Cute, cute doll pendants. They're meant to be worn as a necklace, but I love them as scissor fobs. Diana Zaslow has 3 of them. Anyway, when I was online at Joann's looking to see if I could buy some more, because they're coming all different dresses, different outfits. They have some really cute ones coming out for Halloween that are all, I'm not into skeletons, so I won't be purchasing one of those, but they all have skeleton heads, but in the really cute, cute clothes. So if you're into that, watch for that. Anyway, this was one I used in May, and I'm going to take it off of my favorite Dovo scissors because it is now September 2nd, so I need to put on a fob for September. Oh my word, this is harder than it looks. It's just a lobster claw. It's not that hard. There we go. And this one from Susan is going to be my September scissors. I'm sorry, I woke up with a scratchy throat this morning. It's driving me crazy. All right, that's going to be my scissors for September. This was the fob I was using in August as a cute little pair of flip-flops on it, and these beautiful summer colored beads. And this is the one I was using in July. It says USA on it. Backwards for you. There you go. And this is a like a butcher block, knife block holder for knives, kind of like that my dad made me for scissors, like a middle mini version. He made that for me. This sits by my stitching chair and keeps, not that I ever need more than one pair of scissors, but I love having all 6 of them there to look at. And yes, I own more than 6 pairs of scissors. This one was one I made. It's a pattern from Shepherd's Bush. I think it's called Patriotic Fob. I'm trying to remember. From Sea to Shining Sea on the back. This is a heart that my mother crocheted and made into this little pillow. Her favorite color is yellow. It has a bow right here, but the bow came untied. And this is a key fob that used to hang behind my grandmother's back door, and she kept the keys on it that opened the garage outside. And I remember that hanging there when I was little. And her favorite color is purple, so I had to put on a purple pair of scissors. All right. Pam and Steph of Just Keep Stitching, hi Pam and Steph, showed quite a while ago, 8 months maybe, somewhere in the last year, I think, they were talking about how they stored their DMC floss. It could have been a couple of years ago. Now I don't remember. And Pam was talking about how they had bought these containers, and because they store theirs in baggies. Oh, do I have... I used to bobbinate my floss. I started stitching in 1983 when I was 17. Let's see if I can find one to show you. And I had all my floss on these bobbins like this. You know what I'm talking about. And I still love bobbins. I just hate taking the time to wind them on there. And then somewhere in the last, maybe about 10 years ago, I discovered these floss away bags. They say floss away on them. And they have the hole already punched in them right here, so you can put them on a ring. And I started using them, and I like them way better because you can buy a skein of floss and just dump it in there and start the pattern. You don't have to take time bobbinating. Nothing against people who bobbinate. I'm telling you, I still love bobbins. I just hate putting them on the bobbins. And I also love that because so you pull off a strand and then you, of 6, cut it, and then you pull out your strand or 2 that you're going to use, and then you use them, and then you have to wind the leftovers of the 6 back onto the bobbin, and then you have to wind your leftover after you're done stitching back onto the bobbin. And I loved the baggies because I just coil it around my fingers and stuff it in there. It's purely just faster for me. And I like having, and then I have all the bobbins on a ring for that project. It's just, everyone has their own personal preference about how they keep their floss. This is how I like to keep my floss. It works well for me. Well, my DMC stash, I still have a lot of it on bobbins. And I was keeping it in these beautiful DMC, sorry, technical issues, heavy DMC boxes that I bought from someone who was having a yard sale maybe 15 years ago, and who I think either owned a cross-stitch store or bought all the fixtures from a cross-stitch store, because we only have had a couple of stores in our area, and I would have known what store it was. So it's so long ago I'm trying to remember what happened. But anyway, they're for a store to have in their store, and the drawers were the right size with dividers in them. I've moved the dividers all around so that to sell DMC floss. So they would have been laying this way in, 12 of each color or something in their own little section. Well, I bought them. They have 3 drawers each. They're these plastic drawers. And these dividers are movable. You can move them around. I divided it like this so that I could have rows of DMC on bobbins in there. And it worked really great. They were only about this high when they're on bobbins. I could pull the drawer. They were in numerical order, but you could pull the drawer out and see if you didn't really care what color, but you were just looking for a red. You could pull the drawers out and see. I loved them. I loved how they stored in these. I have 2 of these. They fit with a couple drawers left over to put miscellaneous stuff in. They live on a shelf up there. You saw it when I did the tour of my sewing room. So then when I switched to baggies, after I'm finished with a project, all my baggies are now in these little baggies, not on bobbins, so I couldn't put my floss away. So back to Pam and Steph. Pam showed how they keep theirs in baggies as well, and she showed how they were storing hers, which, if I remember correctly, was in a kind of a plastic bin with a lid that they bought at Walmart or somewhere like that, that was just the right size. And they had them, the baggies all lined up in this bin and with a shelf liner underneath so the baggies wouldn't be all slipping around. And I thought, that is the most fabulous idea. That's how I want to organize my DMC stash floss. But I love these cabinets and I still wanted to use them. So I tried to make it work. And the baggies are too tall. It is this much taller than the drawer. So I put them in here anyway, and I just didn't stuff the drawers full. I left them loose enough that the bags could all kind of lay down a little bit so that I could get the drawers in them. And gosh, that was last summer that I did that. I remember it was after I had surgery. Oh my good gravy. During my recovery, I sat there and put everything in bags and put it in there. So Pam and Steph's video must have been sometime before last summer. So it's been like that ever since. And although it was great because I could now have all my DMC floss all put away together, organized, I just put everything that was on a bobbin, I just put in a bag. I have one bag for each color. Pam said that she cut a piece of cards, this is an index card that I have cut down to fit in here. And she put the number on it right here, and that helped the baggies stand up straight so that you could put them in rows inside the drawer. And I thought that was a fabulous idea, so I did that. So that was, and you can put, I just did one baggie for each color. If I had several skeins, I put them all in the same bag. If I had a bobbin and a skein and a partial skein, I just put them all in the same bag. It's been working great, except that they don't fit in the drawers. And some of the drawers were a little overfull, and I'd pull the drawer out and they'd get stuck standing up, and then you try to close it and then it would jam and pull them out of their place. It was driving me crazy. So as much as I love these DMC cabinets, I had to go to the store and find a plastic bin that would hold these baggies better. I'm still going to use these cabinets. I just need to use them for something else. All of my overdyed cottons and silk floss I keep in those beautiful shoebox size photo storage boxes that you can buy at Joann's, places like that. Or maybe on a ring. Sometimes I'll put them all on a ring in alphabetical order and keep it in a basket. So what whole big long story is all about is that I spent Saturday, I went to several stores trying to find the right size bin. Had a little baggie in my pocket, a floss away bag, and I kept pulling it out and trying it in all these different, you can buy the organizers with the plastic drawers, the little carts, drawer carts. I was trying it on, putting the baggies in the drawer going, nope, baggies are too tall, nope, baggies are too tall. Trying to find a container that would work. I couldn't find anything at Walmart, so then I went to Joann's and I did finally find these bins. They're by this little red thing up in the corner right there. It says Iris, that's the brand name, and they are scrapbook storage case. Just in case you're interested. If you're not, just, ignore this part. It has a lid that clips down, opens up like this. I can fit 3 rows in there. And then I just cut some poster board in strips to separate the 3 rows. And I finally did what Pam suggested, and I put the grabby shelf liner underneath so that the baggies don't slide all over the place. And it works really well. They stand up great. Thank you, Pam and Steph. I know that was a joint project between you two. All of my DMC floss fits in 3 bins. They do stack on top of each other. I just have to figure out where in my crowded sewing room I'm going to keep them now. If I keep the DMC boxes, they kind of need to stay on the shelf where they were because they fit well there. So now I have to find a place for the bins. But it was a great way to store them and a great way to still be able to use the baggies. And then when I was done with the project, file it back in where it belongs. The only problem I have had is when you're pulling floss for a new project, And if there's more than one skein in there, I'll just pull out one skein or one bobbin and put it in a new bag for my, because I want to leave the, if there's more floss and I only needed one, I obviously need to leave the rest of the floss in the bin where it belongs, with the baggie with the little card in it. But sometimes there's only one skein in that bag or one bobbin, and instead of pulling it out, what I need to do is leave the empty bag with the little card in it in there, so I know. But I get lazy and I take the whole bag and I put it in my project. And then I go to refile some other floss, and the baggie with the card in it isn't in there to put it in. So I make a new one because I think, oh, this must be a color I don't have. No, I have that color in that bag with the card in it. I just pulled it out in another project. So I need to decide what my system is there and stop doing that. I think the system needs to be the baggie with the card in it needs to stay in, and I just need to make a new baggie for it. And because I like to have all of my projects, I like all the floss for that project to be in that project all the time. So I know some of you have your master collection of DMC floss and you just have it nearby and you're just pulling the colors that you need for all of your projects. But I like to buy all the floss for that project or pull it and put it in that project, and it stays in that project until that project is done. And as you know, I have 30 something whips that all have their own floss in the bags. So that's a problem that way. I'll just have to figure that out. Okay, more than you ever wanted to know about my DMC floss. Moving on. I will run outside as soon as I'm filming this and take another video, an update video of my wee village, so you can see how the plants have grown. A couple of them had died, but most of them are looking good. We still have not finished the water feature. Kevin is just so busy this time of year with his moonlighting business that he runs after hours. Summer is his busiest time, so we just have not, and I cannot lift that beginning waterfall thing. Is way too heavy for me to lift, so I need his help to figure out some problems with it, and we just haven't had time. At this rate, it might be next summer. Hopefully not. Hopefully we get it figured out this year. But I'll take a quick video of what it's looking like right now, and I'll put it at the end of the video. All right, Snug Harbor Crafts. Deb and Kef of Snug Harbor Crafts on YouTube, they do videos, are doing a retreat in October called Stitch West. I am sorry, I do not know if they still have spaces available or not, but you can watch their videos and find out more about that. Snug Harbor Crafts is their station channel name. I am going to that. So in case you were wondering, yes, I will be at Stitch West in Farmington, I think it is, Utah, October 17th through the 19th. And Boss Daughter and Bossy Daughter are both, hopefully will both be there at least for a little bit of the time. So we'll all three be there together. It will be awesome. I just wanted to let you know that, and I'm looking forward to that. I can't wait. All right, whips. The really sad thing is that I have only worked on 3 whips since the last time I made a video, which has been 2 weeks. And that's really, really unusual for me and sad. But life is calming down. I'm getting back into my normal fall routine. So that will get better. So this part will go a lot faster than it usually goes. All right, Twisted Band Sampler by Northern Expressions is on, the tag is on here somewhere, I know it is. Oh, here it is. Is on 32 count bisque linen, the called for Avera soie silks, 1 strand of silk over 2 fabric threads. And look, it's close. It's, well, a little further than the last time you saw it, but it is, we are getting close to the corner. I have started the dark blue. So we've done the light blue, the medium blue, and this band right here is the dark blue. I'm so excited about that. That is a row of queen stitches with the dark blue. There was a row of queen stitches also with the medium blue right here. And then these were tall cross. What was it called? Long cross? Can't remember the middle part. Now we're doing the queen stitches again, and then this last section is oblong Algerian eyes, I think, or roads, oblong roads, or I can't remember. But it's looking good. I really could finish this in the next month if I would focus and get some more stitching time in. Here's what it looks like all together. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous piece. Has lots of specialty stitches, but nothing really hard. It's really just the kind where you come up at A, go down at B. Come up at C, go down at D. Come up at E, go down at F. Totally doable. If you can do a cross stitch, you can do those stitches. And it comes with great instructions. I did a PDF download from her website. She has two versions of the chart, one with the specialty stitches and one that does not have the specialty stitches and is all just straight cross stitch. I talked last 2 weeks ago about the Words to Live By had just come out, but I hadn't even looked at it yet. And I did get that done. This was block number 8. When you love what you have everything you need. And it was a fun block to do. This is by Tiny Modernist. It's a mystery stitch along. We don't know what the rest, you don't know what the blocks look like until they come out that month. It will go until January or February, till all these blocks are filled up. It started in January. You can still join. Comes in my email every month as a PDF download. It comes out on the 15th. Usually, actually, I get it on the 14th. But it's beautiful. Doing it with the called for DMC colors, 2 strands over 2 fabric threads, and I am 99% sure that this is 32 count black linen. And the third one is Summertime by Stitchrovia. And it was a Mania start. And if you remember, 11 of my Mania starts had monthly assignments, like they were seasonal to be worked on during a certain month. And this one was the one that I wanted to work on during August, during the summer, because it's a summery piece. This is what it's looking like so far. This is what I've spent most of my time on the last 2 weeks when I was too tired and just thought, oh, I'll just pull out Summertime and work on it for a few minutes. I would have loved to have had this done by the end of August. I'm very close. I may still work on it for another week and see if I can get it finished up, because it was supposed to be done during the month of August. I'm working down here on the ice cream. Actually, I finished the ice cream. Right underneath it is that brown banner. It's going to say, "To the beach." This one has been so much fun to work on. The colors are gorgeous. I love it. Love it, love it. By Summertime by Stitchrovia. The called for DMC floss, 2 strands of floss over 2 fabric threads, which I believe is 32 count white even weave. It will be in the description. I always put all of that in the description box below. You can check it there. All right, old finish. This is an old finish with a story that you have seen before. In video number 5, I showed you my house and garden sampler. So if you'd like to go back and see where I first introduced it and talked a little bit more about it, you can see it there. It looks like this. And then in video number 20, I actually did a little video on how I designed this and put it together in case you wanted to make one similar. It's the 9 houses, the 9 houses that mean the most to me in my life at the time that I stitched it. So I designed each house myself on graph paper, and then I finally switched over to PC Stitch program on the computer. All of the trees and birds and all the stuff around the houses I borrowed from other patterns, looked through everything I had, all my magazines, and sometimes I would buy a new pattern. If I was looking for a river or something and I couldn't find one I liked, and I talk about more about that in video 5 and video number 20. And then I took these trees. This border is just rows and rows of trees, and this brick wall type thing that I made up myself. But the trees came from a Brenda Keyes book, I believe, sampler book. And I made the border, and then it has the names of each, either the people who owned that house or the name of it if it was a public building. And I put them all together in this sampler. It was an activity on Legacy Embroiderers Guild chat board back in like 2005-ish. And they were doing it as a round robin, but I saw it and thought it was so gorgeous and wanted to make one myself. So I decided to, they were doing it just as already designed designs, and they'd send it around and take turns on each other's, and each do a house section on each of theirs, and they were so pretty. So I decided to do one, and then decided to design my own houses because they were houses from my life. Anyway, and I told you in those videos that this is my house right in the middle, and when I stitched it, because all the rest of them have their names around the outside, I knew that I was going to have to add our names somewhere in the middle, but I had finally finished it, hadn't decided what to do about that yet, put it down. A year or two went by, finally decided I needed to get it framed. Catherine and I were on our way to the Craft Center of Fine Stitchery in Salt Lake City, and I actually had the money that month, so I was like, grab that sampler, we are going to get that framed. So it had a loose thread hanging off of it because I believe it was up here. I had stitched the address number on this little plaque thing that hangs in the front yard, and couldn't decide if I liked it, so I hadn't ended the thread yet. I had just left it off. So in the car with the needle, Catherine is hiding that thread for me in the back, ending off that thread. And I left it to be framed and got it framed and completely forgot that I had never added my name to the middle part. And I told you that in the other videos. Sorry if you're hearing this all over again. And several of you commented on all kinds of suggestions, fabulous suggestions on what I could do. We talked about putting a brass plaque down here that added to it. We talked about getting a little brass plate made and having the framer take the glass off, and I could just attach it right here. All fabulous suggestions. And then one of the YouTube commenters, Jocks Girl, commented, and she said, Brenda, I think you have to take that all apart and sew on what was supposed to be on there because it's an heirloom. And I read her comment and immediately knew she was right. I had to do that. And I stewed about it for, I don't know, it's probably been 6 months. I don't know. Finally, I was at the Craft Center of Fine Stitchery and talked to the lady who framed it there, Jamie. She doesn't do pieces this large anymore. She still frames handwork, needlework, but she only does pieces that are a certain count by a certain count, and now I can't remember what that is. But this large piece was too big. But back then she was framing stuff this big. Anyway, I talked to Jamie and I said, I am so sorry, but I think I'm going to have you take this apart, all the way apart, because it's pinned to the mounting board underneath. And so all those pins have to come out, and I have to stitch what was left off on this. And I said, I will pay you to reframe it. I am so sorry. And so she said, yes, she would be happy to do that. So I took it up there on a day that I could stay for a few hours. She took it apart, and I stayed right there in the store, sat down at the little table, and I stitched my name underneath the house right here. Our names, Kevin and Brenda Miles. And I also put what year the house was built, because we had this house built new in 1993 when we moved in. So I'll let you see where I added that. And then I also, down here on the bottom, added my initials and the years that I worked on it. So when I started it and when I finished it. It's in that, right underneath that little wall in the border. Took me maybe 20 minutes to stitch that. And then I gave it back to her, left it with her, and she kept it for a month or two until she had time to put it back together again. But Jocks Girl, thank you so much for giving me that little push to say, yes, you know what you need to do. Stop stalling and just do it. And I'm so glad that I finally did it and it's finished and I'm happy with it. So one of the other things we talked about, Jamie and I, was that I needed to write down why these were the 9 most important. I mean, you can see who lived there, but you might not know that those are my grandparents, or those are my parents, or those are my in-laws. And I have some symbolism in here that I talked more about in video 5 and 20, and you wouldn't know what that symbolism meant. So we talked about how to add a piece of paper to the back that would have all of that on it. And we talked about how it would really be better if it was underneath the brown paper on the back, because over the years the brown paper gets ripped. Your child or your grandchild, whoever inherited it, takes the paper off, or it gets ripped and it gets ripped off, you know. And so we were trying to decide what the best thing would be. So we finally decided that I created a document in Publisher, Microsoft Publisher, that I was happy with. And we printed a copy and Jamie put it inside underneath the brown paper so that there would be one inside for, I have no idea if this will still be around 200 years from now, but if someone needed, if it fell apart and someone was taking it apart, they'd at least find that one on the inside. And then I am also going to attach another copy here on the outside in case someone just wants to turn it over and look at it after I'm gone or something, and you can't ask me anymore about it. And I thought I'd show you the document that I created. I need to have, I'm going to take it, go pay and have it printed on a laser color printer that I think will last a little bit longer than just this, on some really nice thick acid-free paper, so it will last for a long time. But I just printed this out on my inkjet so you could see what it looked like. I put a picture of each house in the order that it is stitched on the front, and then I put a little description underneath of why that house was important to me. And then if there were any symbolism in the stitching, then I also explained that. And I put what year I started it, what year I ended it, why I started it. And I'll have that, like I said, printed on some really nice paper. I'm trying to decide whether to just attach the paper to the back. I'm thinking I should put it inside of a plastic sleeve and then maybe use some book tape like they use in libraries that's acid-free and tape it all the way around to the back so it will stay there for a while. Long story, I'm sorry. But beautiful sampler. It's one of my most favorite things that I've ever stitched. And it took the most time. And it took me 10 years to stitch it. I can't even tell you how many hours designing it. I put it all in PC Stitch and had to move things around. And yes, if I was borrowing a tree from another pattern, I actually sat there and put that tree in stitch by stitch into PC Stitch and then moved it or adjusted it, took a branch off here, moved it over a little bit there so everything fit the way I wanted it to. It was hours and hours and hours of work, but I enjoyed it and I love that piece. All right. I'm not going to do what I wish I was stitching on, because what I wish I was stitching on was my normal rotation that I didn't even get to in the last 2 weeks, but I'm hoping to fix that in the next few weeks. But I would talk about my plans for a little bit. Since summertime is the August piece, the Mania piece that was assigned to September is Sky Blue Street by Soda Stitch. For some reason I felt like that felt like a September piece to me. I don't know why. It looks like this. So I think maybe I'll spend the next few days finishing Summertime and then I'll switch to this piece. And then my normal rotation of crazy rotation of how many, what do I have? Like 12 pieces I work on per week. I don't know what it is. This is how far I am so far on Sky Blue Street. So I'm excited to pull that out and work on it. It is the called for DMC on $36 count white linen. And if you want to see what my normal rotation normally is, go back maybe 5 videos. There's a picture of me holding up a poster board with writing on it. That's my normal rotation that I'm going to get back to now that things have called down at work. I think that's everything. Stay tuned if you want to see a little video clip of what the wee village is looking like. Well, I have one out front and one out back. I'll do a little quick video of both of those. And I will hopefully see you in a week or so. Have a great day. Bye-bye. Just kidding. I completely forgot haul and mail. How did I do that? I even have notes this time. Oh my word. All right. Less than an hour after I filmed the video 2 weeks ago, I went out to check the mail and there was a package for me. I can't believe I didn't check the mail before I made the video, right? Colleen, and Colleen, I don't know if you said Colleen or Colleen, in Minnesota, I think. Yes, Minnesota, sent me the most wonderful package. Thank you. She sent this beautiful card and a sweet, sweet note inside. And she sent me a pillow. It's You I Like pillow. Thank you. With this beautiful wool velvet maybe on the back side. And she even sent a little tag. It's on 37 count corn tassel legacy linen. And she used Silken Colors by Thread Gatherer, Calypso Teal silk. That is the most beautiful pillow. Thank you. And she sent me this door. She said I might like it because of my wee village, and you are so right. I can't tell you. I squealed when I opened it. And then Marie happened to stop by later that day, and when I was in my office, she walked in my office immediately, said, "What is that?" So I had to show it to her, and look what someone sent me. Thank you. I think what I'm going to do is take this to work. I had an idea that I need to make a little corner at my desk at work. I have a big 3-corner desk that's attached to the wall. So in the corner there, I think I'm going to make have a little door, a couple other little things, so I can have a little wee village at work. So that every once in a while I can just remember to stop and take a breath. And to just calm down for a minute and look at that and remember all the wonderful blessings I have in my life and the wonderful friends and how much joy stitching and my stitching friends bring me. Thank you. I can't even tell you what that meant to me. So she asked me a couple questions. She said the silk was very kinked when she got done finally getting it untied. Silk is a little hard to get untied sometimes the way they tie it up. And she asked me if I ever ironed my silk. And Colleen, I don't iron my silk. I just stitch it, use it the way it is. It doesn't really bother me. If any of you out there have a different thing that you do with your silk floss when it's all kinked like that, please comment below so we can find out. And then she also asked if I would make a video showing how I load a project onto my scroll rods, the kind that I have. And I'm happy to do that. I just need to find some time to sit down and do that, but I'll do that. And then she also asked if I ever take things off of scroll rods before they're done. And yes, I try not to because it's kind of a little time intensive to get it onto the scroll rods just the way I like it. So I try not to do that. But sometimes you just have to because maybe you're going to a class where you're starting a new piece and you need it to be on scroll rods, or you just know that you're not going to work on this piece for a couple more years. Maybe it's in craft prison for a while and so you want to use those scroll rods on something else. So I have done that. You just take it off, roll it up, put it in its bag with its stuff, and then put something new on the scroll rods because I think I only have 4 or 5 sizes of scroll rods. So sometimes I do switch them out, but I would prefer not to because once you get them on there straight and just right, you don't want to take them off for a while. There are different scroll rods that are easier to get the pieces off and on, like the Velcro ones are a little bit easier. I know I think it's the Millennium Frame ones that come with that are a little easier. I don't have any of those, so I'm not an expert on those. You'd have to look at someone who uses those. But anyway, yes, I will try and make a video on that. When I was searching for the bins to organize the DMC floss at Joann's, there were a couple of magazines they had that I just decided to treat myself and buy. This one is the Cross Stitcher. It comes out of Great Britain. And it came with this card, a kit to make a card with an aperture and the pattern on the floss to make those hot air balloon card. So that was just like inside the plastic right in front of the magazine. And then I won't do a whole flip through, but I'll just show you a couple that I just love. Look at that. The colors in that are so gorgeous. It's called Room with a View. Oh, sorry, this is issue 347, August 2019 issue of Cross Stitcher. And this is Room with a View. Let's see if it lists a designer. I'm sure it does. Susan Bates. And then look at this one with the VW bug. It turned into a flower shop. It's in French. It's called this. Bouquets? I know it's French, I just don't know how to say it. And it is designed by Maria Diaz. Oh, and then look at these. It's candy, and it has buttons and beads on it. I don't know if you can see those. For some of the candy. I thought those were darling. Those are designed by Doreen Jones. Oh, and it was called Sweets for My Sweet. Okay, now Pam and Steph, I hope you're watching today. This one had, apparently they have an alphabet in every issue. And this issue just happens to be an alphabet based on Delft China pattern, which comes from Holland or Dutch or the Netherlands, whatever you like to call it. And I won't show you, it has the whole alphabet and each one has a different animal on it. And they are darling, but it's based on the Delft kind of blue china that comes from the Netherlands. Thought you'd be interested. I thought of you when I saw it. And then this is House Rules. It's called Home Truths is the name of the pattern by Emma Congdon. But on the top it says House Rules. That is so cute. If you borrow it, give it back. If you spill it, wipe it. Wipe it. If you spill it, wipe it. If you drop it, pick it up. If you wear it, hang it up. If you value it, take care of it. If it's not yours, don't touch it. I love this. See the toilet paper? If it's empty, fill it up. And I just did that backwards, I know. If you open it, please close it. If you've broken it, please fix it. If you turn it on, turn it off. I love that. Okay, and then I also, the other magazine that they had there was The World of Cross Stitch, also from Great Britain. This is, what is this? We'll find out. Hang on. Somewhere it will tell me maybe what issue number it is, but I am not seeing it. Sorry, there's a picture of a red tractor on the front, and it's the most recent issue for sale in the United States. So, World of Cross Stitching, red tractor on the front. If I see the number in here, I'll tell you. And I was just going to show you a couple things out of here. The red tractor, of course, called Down on the Farm. Love the colors in that. That is so pretty. My dad would love that. And it is also by Susan Bates. Looks just like the other one, doesn't it? Funny thing that I like both of them. This one is called Tumble into Autumn. Look at that beautiful fox and all the beautiful leaves and trees around it. Oh my goodness. And it is by Kay Widowson. And Pam, look at this lighthouse. The fabric has a lightning strike coming down. I don't know if you can see that. And that is printed on the fabric. It's not stitched. And then she's done some cool things with the floss going different directions in the water to make it look stormy. And then the windows are stitched in glow-in-the-dark floss. So you can't see it. It looks white until you turn the lights off, and then those windows glow in the dark like it's nighttime. I thought that was really cool. It's called A Light in the Dark by Fiona Baker. It doesn't say what lighthouse it's based on, but I don't know if it's based on a particular one or just one that she designed. And then funny thing, they also have an alphabet in every issue. And this one is also based on Delftware. This china right here is Delftware, if you can see that. This is what the alphabet looks like for this one. So apparently stuff it's catching, because now everywhere I look, I keep seeing stuff from the Netherlands, Dutch patterns. Oh, and it came with this cool thing as well. It's a little round booklet with the little bracket at the top to hold it together, so you can, you know, open it like this. And it has 12 wreaths in it. This is the, I can't show them to you because it's just the pattern, but here we'll do a quick flip through like this. 12 of them. I think they're gorgeous. You could either, and you can, it has an alphabet so you can write your own message right in the middle. Oh my goodness. And then one of the ways they suggest finishing it is in a, oh, it's inside the magazine, is in an embroidery hoop. You can just frame it with an embroidery hoop, or you can make it into a little pillow, whatever you want to do. I just think that's really cute. It came with the magazine as well. And one of the times I was at the craft center in the summer, I was admiring Pam, I believe, has a Bothy threads pattern that she's been working on. One of her mania starts, maybe. I can't remember. I know you were doing the lighthouse that had the funny little mermaid in the bathtub up at the top. And I have been admiring Bothy patterns since then. I've seen them on several YouTube channels. So I asked Jamie if she could order me some, which she could, so she did. And then they came in so that when I picked up my framing, I was able to pick them up as well. So this is the cut through Fairy Hill. I think it's cut through Fairy Hill, which I know you're shocked. What? A fairy house? Which I think is just darling. I love that there's stuff buried under the ground and it shows you what's down there. That is one of my favorite things about these patterns. And they show you all the things that are going on inside of the building or the house or whatever it is. It is just darling. This one is cut through Nativity, which I also think is darling. And these are kits. It has comes with Ada fabric and all the floss to stitch them. And then the third one is the cut through camper van. This one makes me smile. And again, all kinds of crazy stuff buried under the ground. And then look at all the stuff that's going on inside the camper van. I love those. And that is all the haul and all the mail. So now for reals, there should be a video showing my two little wee gardens. And I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you again in a bit. Bye-bye.